Wonderful morning to everyone here watching from around the world. This is Afia Sports, the home of sports actually, on Afia TV. Welcome to the show. You can always get us on the frequencies on channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome to the home of sports on Afia TV. I remain CCM Echebe, also known as CC the Rabbi. And of course, we're not doing this alone. We have our guests here. Did I say guests? We have our house members here. Of course, we have Emeka Madueke, the priest of football.
Thank you. I try my best.
You try your best, yeah. Let's see how good your best is, but it's good. And then we have the divinator himself, Divine Onka. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's really great to be here. What a wonderful day indeed. Today's date is the 8th of March. You know, March is already moving towards the halfway mark, and we're marching on to great things. So I'm glad that we're here once again. And speaking of which, we have a special guest in our midst today, and we will talk more about that guest in a jiffy. But first of all, just sit back. There is a clip that I want you to watch. Everybody just watch this clip, and then you understand why it's important to have a guest of this caliber in our studio today. Just take this watch. Pay attention. All right, so that was a video clip. I'm sure you all got entertained, and you talk about the basics in football, basics in sports generally, but football in particular. That was just a clip that shows you what some wonderful young men and enterprising individuals who love sports are doing, and we have one of such in the studio right now. It is my pleasure on behalf of Afia TV to welcome Valentine Agworo, and he's the convener of Schools in Soccer. Now, you got that right. It's not soccer in schools, schools in soccer.
Schools, yes, schools
so
in soccer.
It's good to have you here, Valentine.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm sure we're going to have a great time.
Definitely. Welcome to 042. We love sports here in 042.
Thank you. I love sports
A
too.
lot.
So yeah, let's have it.
So we're going to give you the floor in a couple of minutes to talk about this initiative. And then there's a book that is coming out, that you've written. And clearly it's because, this is something that's dear to our hearts as sports enthusiasts. Catching them young, getting them to understand sports. The tables have been turned. The tide has changed since back in those days growing up, like my generation. I don't know about the Gen Z right now, but my generation, the Gen X, in those days, you have to hide your battle scars in the field from your parents, otherwise you're in trouble.
Yeah.
They see people who are playing football as wasting their time. But fast forward, you see the likes of players that started from the scratch, see people who came from the slums and the ghetto. Look at JJ Okocha, for instance, who started actually here in 042, just here in Enugu. He started kicking cans around the floor. And you could also see that many have made a name for themselves because they started from the scratch. And we saw in that video some of the basics there.
Yes.
Like, the basics of how to kick a ball, use the outside of your boot and the inside of your boot and then curve the ball and all that. And these children are very young. So, Valentine, it's good to have you here once again.
Thank you so much.
Tell us more about yourself. Tell us more about this initiative. First of all, let's know you.
My name is Valentine Agoro, and I happen to be a software engineer, and then I'm a football enthusiast. I have great passion for football. So talking about schools in soccer was birthed out of passion first off, and out of an understanding of the challenges that we have in African football. So when I was done with school, I wanted to get back to playing football. I actually wanted to be a footballer, right? But when I was done with school, I wanted to get back to playing football. But having an understanding that, the football, the player basically goes up and comes down, right? Yes. So you get to a certain age and you're expected to, peak at this point and then you start dwindling. So I understood it wasn't for me. And I also didn't want to falsify my age, so I decided to go back, right? And then I'm also passionate about African football generally. And it pained me whenever I see African footballers do well at the under-17 stage, and then when they get to the main stage, they don't really do so well. So I started researching, trying to understand what is it that they have that we don't have. I know for sure that talent is in abundance in Africa. I can tell you that for free. And there's something God gave to us. I keep saying it, that God gave us the natural energy. So we can stand anything, right? So I think that's basically what we use at the under-17 levels. And then when we get to the main stage where it's now about technicals and tacticals more than the energy, right? We do not really get it right. So I started researching, trying to understand what is it that they have that we don't have? What is it that they do that we do not do? So I traced it down to early stage football player development, right? And then I realized that these guys start as early as 5, 6. Right. I started at 12. That was when I joined the football club and then started playing around. So I thought about it. Then I researched for that. Okay, so what is it that they have also that they are using that we are not using? I did an extensive research and I realized, according to FIFA, right, there are so many institutions that can facilitate early stage football player development. There are about 6 of them, and the school is one of them. So there is private academy, club academies, then there is the school, there is the government institutions, and then I think about 2 other ones, right? So when I thought about it and I wanted to understand what is it that we have. So we have clubs, but we don't really have club academies. And that's why I really enjoy what is happening in Enugu State, right? We Rangers. So I realized that, our club academies they have feeders, but they do not really take it down to the grassroots to start as early as possible. So you can tell for sure that I actually studied the UK system, right? So the UK system, they have 4 phases of football player development. It's grouped in phases. So there is a pre-academy phase, there is a foundation phase, there is the youth development phase, and then there is the professional development phase. Pre-academy is for 6 to 8, foundation 9 to 12, youth development 13 to 15, and then professional 16 and above. So you understand that they teach different aspects of the game at different phases. So you can tell for sure that these guys have a clear path to ensuring that they develop good players year in, year out, right? And I think that was the same reason why I think Arsene Wenger once said that if Mbappe was raised in Cameroon, he wouldn't have become the Mbappe we know today. That's just the difference, right? So I said, what do we have that we can use? Club academies, our clubs, our professional clubs are not really doing all of that to bring it down to the grassroots, right? And then there are not enough institutions to actually help us do this. So I realized that the school is already there, right? And then I thought about it and said, we can take football to the schools. First off, the school has a clear system already. So they have primary, secondary, junior secondary, senior secondary, and university.
Yes.
If you look at it, that's 4 phases, right? So I decided, okay, you know what? Let me go back into the schools. And that's also where I can find these very young ones, for sure. So it's in the primary system. So you should find, I think it's about 6 to 9, 10. So if you find 11, it's almost like an anomaly. So I realized that, okay, if we take it there, we can actually do our pre-academy from there, do foundation, junior secondary, youth development, senior secondary, professional development, you know, the universities and there. So yeah, that's like a summary of what led to it. So I realized that we already have a structure. The school is there, right? The school is not just for academic development as well. So the school is also supposed to help nurture creativity and help develop these other guys in terms of their talents and whatnot. So I said, okay, you know what? Let's take it back into the schools and then start from the scratch. So we do primary, we do secondary, junior secondary, senior secondary, and the university. But right now, we just went into the junior secondary now. So hopefully, before the end of the year, we get into the senior secondary. And yeah, we also get to the universities. And yeah, we're trying to put a system in place to actually help facilitate football player development. So in primary schools, we teach absolute basics. We make sure that they learn the technical side of the game very well. So in the junior secondary, that's when you start talking about positionals and tacticals and then and so on and so forth. So yeah, we are actually looking at using the school as an institution to facilitate football player development. And one of the things that is core to us is we envisage or we see every school as being able to function as a standalone football academy, right? And then, yeah, and one of the other reasons why we also decided to get into the school is because now, as away from the absence of institutions that help facilitate football player development, you understand that, like you already mentioned, parents are very skeptical to allow their kids to get into the football clubs and do all of that. But they are very comfortable allowing their kids go into the school to, you know, go to school, learn English, math, and whatnot. And extracurricular activities, if it is football, please do well to go ahead with it because they understand that, first off, these guys are under strict supervision. Now, there is more little chance of them being distracted because that's also something they are afraid of, right? They understand that the school knows how to nurture, knows how to balance all of this, so they can allow them to participate in football while also balancing them with academics. And it's also something that is core to us, right? Because we also understand that most footballers they just think that since I have the talent or since I can play football, since I've learned football, I really don't need education. But this is also trying to marry both, make sure that you understand. And something that is very key and strategic to us is also the fact that most girls are really not paid attention to in terms of football development. There are just little female clubs, right? Female grassroots football clubs in Nigeria and Africa, right? So I know for sure that getting into the schools, you're going to see them. I mean, if you watch the clip, you understand that girls are as interested as the boys, but sometimes they are not really paid very good attention to. So we go in there and then we make sure that we get all of these things covered, and then yeah, that's basically.
I was actually coming to that, but because of time, I'll give the floor to Emeka because both of you have something in common. The pursuit of footballing excellence that was truncated at one point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to enter into details. But before that, what you said is very, very important. I was pleasantly surprised. I have 2 daughters of my own, 2 daughters and a son. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that there were a good number of girls who are showing a lot of interest. And then you're looking at the next, let's start from here, you're looking at the next Rashida Ajibade, looking at the next Asisato Shola, Francisca Odega, Desire Baronozie. You're seeing these players there in those little girls. And it gladdens our hearts that the tide is changing. So much is happening in the world of football. And really, I'm certain, I want to assume that most of what you've talked about right now, this intentional development is documented in your book. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay. The book that you're going to talk about. But Emeka, I'm sure you have something to say about this.
Yeah, I really love this innovation that you've come up with. I mean, it's key to see that someone wants to take the development of soccer serious in Africa, not just Nigeria, but these are things that have been missing. And you see it in the foreign countries like UK, Spain, where they take through the schools, trying to give them programs that help nurture the next footballers and all that. It's really great to see this coming up. And I wanted to also point out that there are a few grassroots clubs, even here in Enugu. I don't know if you try reaching out to see if you could maybe work with some of them, because I know I went through one academy here in Enugu that helped me develop in my football. But due to what Mr. C said, some unfortunate things couldn't make me go further into football. But I mean, it's good that this innovation has started. I really love to see how it progresses with the primary school, the junior secondary school, and the senior ones, as you said, before we get to the universities.
Yes.
But I mean, you also need to point out that there could be a sort of, I don't know how to say, maybe like a scholarship kind of thing that comes up eventually.
Yes, exactly.
To get this.
We have it in
get
mind.
these children motivated to, okay, we'll not just do it academically, we can also go through the soccer. And I think it's the best put in a way that, okay, you use the academics as a benchmark to get these children to be motivated both educationally and the football-wise.
Very correct.
Another thing I want to point out is that this is really great, getting the small children to be involved with it, not just the boys as well, the girls, because I mean, we don't see much of women football in Nigeria and Africa, like you pointed out. And to see that you're trying to incorporate these girls into the system, it's really beautiful. I really like that. I mean, when I become a father, I would love my daughters to get involved in football as well. But I really just want to give you a kudos and say I love this innovation. It's really nice.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, Divine, you want to just chip in something?
Actually, well, they've congratulated you already, but I still have to say my big congratulations to you. God is actually using you to, make an impact to the world, They say if your presence makes no impact, your absence makes no difference. So you're actually making impact. Like, we should always try to catch them young. Train up a child on the way he should go. When he grows up, he will never depart from it. So if you're training them in football, giving them the basic knowledge of what they need to know about football, the tactics, the technicalities, the movements on and off the ball, all those things, then I can assure you that if you keep doing that, the sky won't actually be just the limit, rather it will be your starting point. So I want to say kudos to you. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, it's so wonderful it's something that we're really passionate about, but no time will not permit us to move further than this. Now, in just about a minute, we talked about the fact that there's a book that you've written. Is that your first book, by the way?
It's the first book.
Okay, beautiful. So that's the first of many, because
first of many.
definitely when we see the level of development that this book is going to bring about, then definitely more will come, and I'm sure there's more research and more material in the offing, and we're hoping for the best. So this book that you're talking about, apart from what we've talked about, what you've talked about, the things you've itemized, the different sequences involved in development of players at the pre-academy level, foundation level, and all down to the end. What else do we expect to see or find in the book? Because I'm particular about this, because there's a wise man that made a statement one day. He said that if you want to hide something from a black man, hide it in a book. And I normally say, not this black man, because I'm passionate about reading. I want to, and something I inculcate in my children and everybody around me. If you do not read around me, then you just need to get out of my sight, because I have to transfer that reading culture to everyone around me. So having said that, apart from what you've enumerated, what else do we expect to see in this book of yours? And by the way, what's the title of the book?
The title of the book is Football Appreciation, right?
Oh, wonderful.
And it's just basically about the fundamentals of football, right? And so I wrote the book with 3 sets of people in mind, right? And this book is basically primarily for pre-academy, right? Now, it's filled with a lot of pictorial illustrations. Like, the pictures are very beautiful, because I want to ensure that it's something that appeals to the kids. Like you said, if you want to hide something, put it, but kids are attracted to pictures, and beautiful pictures, actually. I mean, if you see the book, there are a lot of beautiful pictorial illustrations to explain everything in details, right? So for people who do not seriously enjoy to read, you can look at the pictures and you understand what we are talking about, right? Now, it's written for bearing 3 primary people in mind. The kids. So the idea is that kids can actually use it as a self-help guide, to learn football on their own and at their pace, right? Then it's also written for parents. I don't know if you've seen these days, a lot of parents are interested in helping their kids develop
Yes.
in terms of football, right? So it's also written for parents to also use as a guide, to train or teach their kids football. Then it's also written for teachers because this is something that we expect that, is going to be greatly used in schools, right? So it's also written for teachers where they can use it, to also train kids in the school. So yeah, these are things to expect. And it's something that when I was writing it, I tried to ensure that it's something that is going to appeal to everybody that sees it. I mean, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but if you see the cover of Football Association, please judge it. You can tell for sure.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a perfect way to end. So now, towards the end of the show, because usually whatever you say last is what will ring in the minds of the people. I don't want to get the social media handles now. It's at the end of the show that we mention them so that it can be the last thing people leave with when we talk about the book.
Okay,
but
great.
we're going to go on a very short break right now. We have a lot, and you're going to stay, Valentine, you're not rushing off. You stay here as a guest because I know that you're also a football fan.
Yeah.
Clearly, for you to be involved in this,
Yes,
we
correct.
want to get your thoughts concerning some of the things we'll discuss. We will be discussing the NPFL. We'll be discussing the 39-man list. I almost said short list, but 9-man list that Eric Sekuchel, the new manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, has drafted for the matches that will take place in a couple of weeks. That's between Nigeria and Rwanda, and then of course Nigeria and Zimbabwe. The World Cup qualification is really something that we have to look forward to. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. So has Eric Chell selected the best players available? We'll talk about that. Then also we'll look at what happened in the UEFA Champions League, UEFA Conference League, and then in between the UEFA Europa League. And then we'll look at the top 5 leagues and then the big matches to expect. And then we're also going to analyze the merits or demerits of people who say things that I won't say more about that till then. Yeah, the Jimmy Carragher issue, some people have jumped up to his defense. There is one in particular that said something that is laughable. And it would be laughable if it were not pathetic. Stick around. We'll get back to that in a jiffy. Welcome back to the Home of Sports on Afia TV, where you can get us, as usual, on channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 Go TV, and channel 748 Free TV. Welcome to the Home of Sports. We've had a guest. He's still here with us, of course. He's our guest. We have to milk our guest for all that it's worth. The Valentine Ogoru is here. And then the usual guys, we have, of course, Emeka Madoka, the priest of football, and then Divine Onwuka, the divinator himself. And we're still in Africa, in Nigeria. So let's start from the NPFL. The Nigerian Professional Football League, Nigerian Premier Football League, I beg your pardon, is still ongoing, and then it's at the tail end. The squeaky bum time, if you ask Sir Alex Ferguson, squeaky bum time is getting very, very serious right now. And then we're going to look at the fixtures for this weekend. We're going to have action today and tomorrow. And then, of course, we will see the table and see how it's looking. Remo Stars don't look like they can be caught anytime soon. It's very, very difficult to say what they're going to do, but they're 9 points clear. And then we have the fixtures there. You're looking at the fixtures on the board. Emeka, you do us justice to that.
All right, Castillo United take on 3SC. Rivers United host Niger Tornadoes. Bender Insurance hosts Remo Stars. Lobby Stars do host the Ikorodu Boys. Plateau United hosts Abia Warriors. Kora United hosts Kano Pillars. Nassau United hosts Sunshine Stars. Aimba hosts El Kanami. Rangers at the Cathedral will host Aqua United. And Heartland will host Bayelsa United. And let's just quickly brief through this. Normally we like to do a prediction segment on the show.
We'll do that.
Quite briefly, I'll just take the key games for myself. I'll take the Aimba El Kanami game. I see it as a win for Aimba. I don't know the scoreline there, but I want to give the Ryan's brothers the win over Gerald Rangers to do the job at the Cathedral. Heartland to get the points over Bayelsa United. If I'm not wrong, the league leader should get a win away from home at Bender Insurance. That's my take on this week's fixture.
Say if wishes were horses, even thugs would ride. But let's just see how that pans out. I don't know. It's getting to a very serious point. But
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts? First with Divine, and then we'll ask Valentine. What are your thoughts concerning the games this weekend? Are we going to see any potential banana skins? Because I get the feeling, I have an annoying feeling that there will be some disappointments this weekend.
Upsets.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the Remo Stars versus Bendel Insurance game. Well, to get a point away from home, to get just 1 point away from home is almost like you've gotten 3 points. You rejoice over getting a point because you're away from home. That's where it's almost as if it was programmed that way in the NPFL. But I'm sensing that there might be some disappointment in the Remo Stars. That no offense to anyone. I'm just saying what I feel might happen. Then Enyimba, my brothers. Okay, let's just I'll keep my fingers crossed on that. I'm saying maybe a draw on that game. Sad to say. Then Enyimba, Rangers, Enugu Rangers, our flying antelopes. Yeah, they will do the job against Aqua United. So that's it for me.
Okay, so Valentine, I don't know if you remember the fixtures that were listed there, some of them. What are the standout fixtures to you? The defending champions are not really looking very good at the moment. They are fifth on the log, that is Enugu Rangers.
Yeah.
But Remo Stars seem to be the champions elect. And then there are a number of other games that are there. The Rangers are going to be hosting Aqua United. Aqua United are really languishing in the relegation zone, 19th on the log. So what are your thoughts about those games? And then are there any other standout fixtures that you have in mind? And I didn't even ask this question. What club do you support in
NPFL.
Nigeria, in the NPFL, if you have any club?
My club is not in the NPFL at the moment. We are still trying to come up to the NPFL.
What would that be?
Kun Khalifat.
What?
Kun Khalifat.
Kun Khalifat. Kun Khalifat. Where I'm trying to remember where that's based.
I've heard about that club.
Owerri is one of the Imo-based clubs.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's it.
So they're in the NNL right now?
Yeah, they are the NNL.
Okay, so hopefully with a few
they
more
are leading
tries.
their group, so yeah.
Okay, good, beautiful. So we'll just keep
They are
fingers
leading
crossed.
their first on their log.
Yeah.
We hope to see them in the
Next season.
NPFL next season. And then we'll have hopefully more, from what we're seeing, hopefully we'll have two sides from Imo State because Heartland don't look at they're going down.
No.
Yeah, they don't, I mean, and that's
Very correct.
testament to what Emmanuel Amunike is doing.
Yeah.
Really. They don't look like they're going down. So apart from that, what are your thoughts, standout fixtures, maybe in just 30 seconds, standout fixtures and expectations?
Yeah, so I think Bendel Insurance, Remo Stars. So I actually have this thing for Remo Stars because of what they are doing right now.
Yes,
I think Bendel Insurance is going to cause an upset in there. But I think it's also going to be a win for Rangers, just like he said.
Okay, I think I tend to agree in that regard because Bendel Insurance are not a team to scoff at. They're not a team to pull your nose up at. Even as I actually admire Remo Stars for what they're doing, the consistency in their development over the years, and then the fact that they're intentional about football progression or football development and progression.
Exactly.
They're intentional about it, but it doesn't stop them from being upset this weekend. So let's just be watching, let's be watchful and see how that happens. And we move straight because of time, We're going straight to that 39-man list. Eric Sekuchel, by now you should have accepted him as manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If you don't like that, find another country to go to. But the Malian is there. And then of course the provisional list we have there for the people that are called up. So we start with the goalkeepers.
Obviously, Stanley Wabali has to be in the list. There is no denying that he deserves to be in the 30-man squad. Malika Okoye, quite a few surprises for Betty, but he has been doing well with his side with Tunisia. Amos Osobe, I always have a problem pronouncing it.
The former Bedell Insurance keeper.
Yeah, he has been good this season so far. I've watched a few of his games. He has put in quite a good shift. Carragher Bankole has also done quite a good thing, so deserve being a call-up.
Okay, then I'll call the defenders right now, and then you call the midfielders, and I'll call the forwards.
All right, no problem.
The defenders, we have William Trusekong, the captain, the marshal himself of Al Khulud FC Saudi Arabia. Then Bright Osai Samuel, the pumper. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So Bright Osai Samuel, that guy is not just a footballer, he does many things besides football. His iron fist, is known in Fenerbahce. And then, of course, you have Bruno Onyemechi of Olympiacos Greece, and then Gabriel Osho. Gabriel Osho, this is one of the players that I'm looking forward to seeing, hopefully, in that, the former player of Luton Town. And then you have, of course, Auxerre, Calvin Bassi, there of Fulham, and then Ololuwa Aino himself. Zaidu Sanusi.
My brother from my mother's side.
Yes. And then, of course, Igo Ogbu is also there. That's one of the players that was called up there of Slavia Prague. He's been a marshal in the back of the defense. And then Jordan Torun, please, Torunariga, please forgive me. Yes, no, Jordan is playing for Ghent FC in Belgium. And then, of course, our very own Ifeanyi Onyebuchi of Rangers, Enugu Rangers. So we have a Rangers player that's there. Hopefully, he's not just an artifact. He's going to be somebody who may play. Yes, he should feature.
And for the midfielders, Wilfred Ndidi, Raphael Onyedika, Asal Yusuf Abdullahi, Fushayo Dele Bashir, Frank Onyeka, Alex Iwobi, Joseph Ode
Aribo, Joseph Aribo.
Anthony Dennis, Christantos Uche, very good for Getafe this season. Papa Daniel Mustafa
of Niger Tornadoes. That's another NPFL player. So we're glad to have that representation.
Is Niger Tornadoes in the NPFL? Right?
Of course. Yes. Who trashed Rangers some weeks ago?
Sorry.
Who be very
I purposely asked that.
Yes, they are in NPFL.
No,
none taken. At least from me anyway. Then the forwards, you have some of Chukwueze of AC Milan, Victor Osimhen, the baller himself of Galatasaray. Then Ademola Lookman, the current senior man himself, Ademola Lookman of Atalanta FC. And then Kelechi Iheanacho, senior man Kells of Middlesbrough on loan from Sevilla. Victor Boniface, the former boy of Bayer Leverkusen. And then Simon Moses of FC Nantes. And then Sadiq Umar of Valencia FC, formerly of Real Sociedad. Nathan Teller, the teammate of Victor Boniface in Bayer Leverkusen. And then Cyril Desires, who's been scoring goals for fun. He's the highest scoring goal scorer. He's the highest scoring Nigerian forward in Europe right now. That's Cyril Desires. He scored for Rangers, Glasgow Rangers, not Enugu Rangers. And then, of course, Tolu Arokodare of Genk in Belgium. Chidera Ejuke of Sevilla FC, Spain. Then Paul Onuachu of Southampton FC, the man mountain himself. And then Ahmed Musa, the governor of Kano Pillars. And Jerome Accord Adams of Sevilla FC. So two Sevilla forwards are there. Or you could even say 3 Sevilla forwards are there because Kelechi Iheanacho is on loan to Middlesbrough. So I mean, Sevilla are the biggest winners in that regard somehow in terms of representation. So please, thoughts concerning, just very, very quickly in a few seconds, thoughts concerning the list, who should be there, who shouldn't be there, and who do you think is going to make a major impact? What plans do you think Eric Chell?
I will start with goalkeepers. I'm not too keen on Okoye. I've never really been one to support the man. I mean, but he's tried his best with Udinese, so I can see why they called him up this season. Defense, Basi obviously deserves it. Olaina deserves it. Zadu Sanisi deserves it.
So who doesn't?
I'm not too keen on Samuel. I've not really seen much from him to deserve the call up. Yeah, I've not really seen much from him to deserve the call up this season. That's my personal
What if there's some Rwandan fans that are misbehaving?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Attackers, I'm not really keen on Kelechi being called up. I've not seen much from him this season. I'll be honest with that. Every other person here seems like they've deserved the call up. I mean, Netantel has tried for Leverkusen. The Sailors, as we said, has tried immensely for Glasgow Rangers. Chukwueze is another senior man in Italy. Obviously, Osimhen deserves his call up. Lookman, deservedly. Midfielders, I believe everyone here deserves a call up, most especially Papa Daniel Mustafa. I mean, I've been key.
He has been fantastic.
I've been key watching him out, and I love what he's been doing this season. So that's just it for me. I mean, that's who deserves and who doesn't deserve.
Okay, Divine, your thoughts?
It's a good squad. Good to have some big names there. Still saying Amadu Goko doesn't deserve the call up. I beg to differ on that. He deserves it because one Stanley Nwabali is not on ground. He is. There's no two ways about it. He's the next person in line. Just like when Stanley Nwabali lost his mom or lost one of his parents or so. His dad. Yeah. He wasn't psychologically, he wasn't ready based on the event. So it was Madi Koko that was called to step up and stay in between the sticks. And I say that he's not bad. So I dare say it that if Stanley Nwabali is not there, Madi Koko is always there to be the backup. He's the first backup as long as that list of goalkeepers are concerned. Defenders, I don't know what, well, let's just say Gabriel Osho. I don't really know. But that we don't know better than the coach. No matter what we think here, the coach has made the decision. So he knows his players better than us. What's his name? Wilfred Ndidi. Well, okay. I don't really know. For midfielders, Wilfred Didi, I don't really know what's up, but you don't be as you don't be. Then forwards, everyone in forwards, just, I'm okay with everyone in forward.
Okay, so what about you, Valentine?
Yeah, so the reason why I wouldn't really say hey, this guy doesn't deserve it or not is because off the top of my head, I can see a very good 11. I can even see a very good 18. I can see a very good 20.
Yeah, I'm picturing the same 18.
So I can tell you for free that 16 players are going to, is it 16? Have we adopted the 5 substitutions over here?
It should be 16. Actually, yes, 5 substitutions.
Okay, so 16, right? So I can see a very good 16. I can also see a very good 20. So I won't say anybody doesn't deserve it, but I'm more interested in seeing how the coach, puts these guys together and gets the best out of them. Because I can tell you for free that we have outstanding players in here. We have outstanding players. So we just need to find, and I think he's going to do a very good job. I think so. I think Eric is going to do a very good job. So I'm looking forward to all the games. There are some guys here who are not going to play. That's the truth. A lot of them are not going to play. Yeah. So, and to a very good extent, we can say these guys will play, these guys will not play. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the guys who are going to play, and I hope they're going to do a very good job.
Okay, let me just say this in a few seconds. I'm looking forward to what Eric Chell is going to do. But one thing he will do is that he will do something that's relatively unorthodox. And I feel that there will be 1 or 2 surprises. I don't know where those surprises will pull up
when
from.
He sees
but yeah, when he actually selects the players that will play. 21st is not far. 21st of March, that's the first game that will take place in Kigali against Rwanda. And of course, that's a grudge match for obvious reasons. And Maduka Okoye is there. Stanley Nwabali, who is fit, would naturally be the first choice. But Maduka Okoye has a grudge, remember the last match, and you're only as good as your last game, or fairly so, because Maduka Okoye has been fantastic for Udinese. He just that was a rubber game against Rwanda in the Goso Akpabio International Stadium. And then Nigeria lost, but Nigeria had already qualified for the African Cup of Nations. But he might not have the chance to get his revenge, because we're looking at the best 11. So most likely, best and most consistent 11. Yeah. So most likely, Stanley Nwabali will be between the stakes. But I expect, let's not forget that Eric Chell has a preferred formation of 4-4-2.
Yeah.
So we might just see 1 or 2 little shake-ups there, changes, and then getting personnel that will suit that formation. So really, that's all I can say for now. Any player that he brings up there, I will not be surprised. I'll just watch and see what he's going to do.
Yes.
So I think that's that for Eric Chell and the list. And I don't know what your thoughts are, but really you can follow us on our socials and then find out exactly, or drop your comments and then find out exactly, talk to us rather. Let's know exactly what you have in mind concerning this list. Is it a good list? Is it an insufficient list? Is it an incomplete list? Just let's know your thoughts. But we're going very quickly to a certain person who said something that I'm sure he's going to regret. Recently, I'm sure, in case you're not living under a rock, recently you know about the issues between Jamie Carragher and the rest of Africa when he's come out to sort of clear the air that he didn't denigrate AFCON, just talking about the issue of the chances of somebody playing in AFCON as regards to whether the person is going to win the Ballon d'Or, referring particularly to Mohamed Salah, that he doesn't receive the visibility that he deserves. I'm just trying to give him some benefit of doubt. So while Jamie Carragher was being forgiven because he had to come out and try to balance the equation. So while he was being forgiven, somebody who should have known better, but I mean, come on, you can't expect anything less from a full-time thug and part-time footballer in his playing days. Joey Barton, the former Manchester City player, who, by the way, played for Man City between 2002 and 2007, and he amassed, I think that was 39 yellow cards and 5 red cards. Talk of somebody who should actually talk about things of that nature defensively. He came out to say recently that Joey Barton is Jamie Carragher is a better defender than all African players. Please, I don't know if you could just listen. Let's hear the video.
As much as all the Africanos have had a pop at Carragher for saying what he said, there's no better defender come from Africa than Jamie Carragher. Africa have never produced a better defender than Jamie Carragher.
Well, they are, but they are going to play for France.
Well, name me a better African defender. Can anybody name me a better African defender?
Marcel Desailly.
Ever. He's French.
Kolo Toure.
Kolo Toure went better than Jamie Carragher. Joking, aren't you? So again,
It's
Like,
not, it's a shout. It is a shout.
Can you name me a better defender, an African defender?
If there was,
than Jamie
we would have said then, and I can't.
They might say Koulibaly, the lad who came over with a big reputation from Napoli.
He's a big yard
shit
dog.
the bed, yeah, and then he got off to Saudi.
Kolo Toure for Arsenal was good.
Kolo Toure's not better than Jamie Carragher. If I said to you, you can have one in your team, bear in mind, Carragher played at right back.
I'd have Carragher over Toure, yeah. I would.
Again, we're going through here, this great continent that's produced phenomenal talent and deserves to be taken serious as a major tournament. Well, you can't name me one.
Now, very amusing. Very amusing. Now, just for context, I just want to give context right now. The Jamie Carragher we're talking about was in the same team as Kolo Toure in Liverpool. And he was on the bench for most of the time to accommodate Kolo Toure. Go figure. Think about that. And that's just the Premier League. That's Kolo Toure, Kalidou Koulibaly, for instance, Joseph Yobo. I'm just calling a few Nigerian players in the EPL alone, just the EPL alone. Let's not talk about the likes of course, Rigobert Song also played in Liverpool. Mm-hmm. And you tell me that Rigobert Song is an inferior. Come on. These guys, I don't know. Anyway, I would have. The thing is, when you listen to a non-entity, now forgive me for saying that, but when you listen to somebody who is actually a failed footballer, who was a failed footballer, just no more for his thuggery and his shenanigans on the pitch and off the pitch. This is somebody who gave a black eye to his teammate, in two black eyes actually. Usman Dabo, he gave him 2 black eyes in a training session. You don't take such people serious. You don't take such people serious. So he just voiced his opinion, and someone once said that opinions are like backsides. Everyone has a pair. So really, I think Jamie Carragher has said what he has to say. Joey Barton has aired his views, but that doesn't mean his views hold any water at all. So really, I won't give him the pleasure of even analyzing what he said, the foolishness he's actually pointed out. But I don't know, just in a few seconds, because we're running out of time. What are your thoughts concerning this unfortunate ex-midfielder or pathetic excuse of an ex-midfielder?
There's not much to say, rather. I mean, you have to look at his career. Like, in the words of JJ, let me bring it back to Joey Barton now. You have to look at the career of such player that is saying these things and see whether they really went far in their career or whether they had substance in their teams. And to come out with such comments and say Africa hasn't produced a better defender than Jamie Carragher. Records and history beg to differ.
Starts at there. Starts
at there to differ. So, I mean, Joey Barton, okay.
Too bad. No, you can say what you want to say. Now, Divine, please, in a few seconds.
What I want to say?
Yeah, your thoughts.
He shouldn't even make that statement. Number 1 is, your name wasn't mentioned. Number 2, you're not from Africa. Number 3, the Jamie Carragher, so to speak, has actually come out to kind of clear everything, like to make sure that we understand him perfectly. Kind of an apology. Let's just input an apology. Then you do that, you don't even have the right to even come and still go ahead and, how do I say it? You add salt to the injury, and then now what is he trying? Is he trying to? For me, I'm trying to check if he's trying to just make content or he's actually serious in what he said.
Oh, okay, Valentine. Let's say this.
I really do not think I should even start drawing that comparison, mentioning players' names, because I think that's when we now stick to that.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, he has an opinion, and I mean, come on, coming from somebody who is a failed footballer, who was a failed footballer in his time. I think we're not going to indulge him.
We're not.
So that's so much for Joey Barton and his thoughts. Keep your thoughts. Good for you. And we're going very, very quickly to Europe. We're in Europe, actually. We've since Barton has dragged us somehow. So let's stay in Europe. Let's remain in Europe. And then we'll talk about the EPL, the English Premier League, what's going down this weekend. Of course, we know that the biggest fixture this weekend in the English Premier League has to be that mammoth clash at the Old Trafford Stadium, where Arsenal are aiming to become the first team in the Premier League history to win 5 consecutive Premier League games against Manchester United. We, of course, we'll just read through the fixtures for the EPL.
Nottingham Forest hosts Man City. That's a big clash, 3rd and 4th, respectively.
Let's just read the fixtures.
Brighton, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Ipswich. Liverpool hosts Southampton, the Basement Boys. Leaders, this is the Basement Boys, as they say. Brentford versus Aston Villa. Wolves take on Everton. That's a big clash there. Chelsea do host Leicester at Stamford Bridge. Tottenham, having quite a shaky season, host Bournemouth, who are impressive. the big mouth-watching clash there at Old Trafford, Manchester United versus Arsenal, and at the London Stadium, West Ham hosts Newcastle United.
It's going to be a mammoth clash. Okay, just quickly, apart from Arsenal, man, you just give us one or two standout
Nottingham
fixtures.
Forest, Man City.
Yes, that's
Liverpool, Southampton. I would like to give the West Ham Newcastle game a look at.
Okay.
And I'm Brighton Fulham. I'm keen on that. Also, I'm keen to see what the Mosaic can do against Wolves.
Yeah, the Mosaic. Yes. Let's see how that goes. So, Divine.
I'm looking at Aston Villa Brentford. Is it apart from Man U Arsenal?
Yes, please.
Okay, Aston Villa Brentford is one. Nottingham Forest has been the surprise package of the season.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that game as they will meet Man City, who have not actually been a very wonderful team so far.
Okay, give us one more fixture, please.
And then last but not least, Chelsea. Let's see what they do with Leicester.
Yeah, Chelsea Leicester. Let's not forget that's a return to that Enzo Maresca is going to play against the former side that he brought to the Premier League, he promoted to the Premier League. Okay, so Valentine, please.
Interesting one.
Okay.
I think Brentford as well, like these guys are proven that they can cause upsets at any time. Then Liverpool Southampton. I don't know why they're not paying attention to that because I think Liverpool is going to rest a lot of.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
Champions League.
So it's going to be an interesting game.
At Anfield.
As everybody has mentioned, let's have the rest seriously there. And Brighton, you guys treat football. So what's in play with football? So I'm going to watch to see what they're going to do.
Our Nigerian guys are
No, yeah, of course, our Nigerian players will be in action in most of these games.
And the La Liga.
But let's just touch the La Liga very, very quickly because in the Spanish La Liga, very, very good. We're going to look at La Liga. What's happening in Spain? The rain in Spain stays mainly
the three-man horse race.
And it is a three-man horse race. You have to please, very quick.
Celta hosts Leganés, Valencia do host Valladolid, Barca, the league leaders, host Osasuna, a revenge match there. Deportivo hosts Villarreal, Real Madrid hosts Rayo Vallecano, Athletic Club hosts Mallorca, Sociedad hosts Sevilla, Getafe hosts Atletico de Madrid, Real Betis hosts Las Palmas, and the other club from Barcelona, Espanyol, hosts Girona.
Okay, so standout fixtures, please, just one each.
Barcelona, Osasuna, Real Madrid versus Vallecano, Getafe versus Atletico de Madrid, and finally the game between Athletic Club Mallorca.
Okay, so divide.
He just the same thing.
Okay, I agree with the last speaker.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move to the next speaker. Okay, Getafe Atletico, that's a Madrid derby. Now there are two Madrid derbies. That's what I wanted to say. Just echoed part of my sentiments. Two Madrid derbies are there. We need to watch out and see what will happen. Getafe up against Atletico Madrid is a Madrid derby. Then Real Madrid against Rayo Vallecano, another Madrid derby. So let's see how that pans out. Now, as we end, we'll go to Europe. What happened in Europe? What happened in Europe last week?
UEFA Champions League.
First of all, UEFA Champions League. Arsenal Football Club, I think they have
there are two
legs. And then maybe just -1-2, just -1-2 in the quarterfinal against the Madrid side. You don't know yet which Madrid side, but 7-1 at the PSV Eindhoven Stadium in the Netherlands.
It's quite a uphill to climb. It's not coming back from that. But Club Brugge did lose at home to Aston Villa 3-1. Madrid did the job at the Santiago Bernabeu against Atleti. PSV demolished by Arsenal 7-1. Dortmund and Lille settled for a draw 1-1. Feyenoord pushed aside by Inter 2-0. Paris, upon all the shots, Alisson faced 29 shots on the day, had 9 saves. And Liverpool, through Elliott, got the last minute win. All to do at Anfield. But Bayern convincingly did the job against Leverkusen. Alonso and his men will be looking for an upset in Munich, at Leverkusen rather. And 10-men Barcelona, yes, I say it again, 10-men Barcelona. Who else rather than Rafinha to step up and do the job against Benfica? He loves playing Benfica, as they say. And
he always scores decisive goals.
That's how the first leg went.
We move swiftly,
Europa League.
Because we're running out of time. Europa League and then the Conference League, the results.
Alkmaar did the job against Tottenham at home. Lyon did the job away at SCSB. Fenerbahce, Mourinho's men, just not convincingly doing the job on the night. Dessers had a chance to get the embrace, but it went to his teammate. Real Sociedad sharing the spoils with Man United after coming back with a penalty. Ajax losing at home to Frankfurt. Bodo Glimt convincingly did the job against Olympiacos at home. Roma, top notch this season in the Europa League against Athletic Bilbao, did the job there. Lazio showing why they finished first in the standings against Pilsen. And the Europa Conference League. And now the league leaders, obviously Chelsea, did the job away to Copenhagen. 3-2 to Moldova, Legas Warsaw. Plantinos did the job against Fiorentina. Real Betis doing nothing but to share the spoils. A 1-1 draw for Borac and Rapid. 1-0 for CJ over Lugano. 3-0 at home for Gerhano to Brugge, Selly. And Pafos doing the job over Dushgan.
Okay, so those are the fixtures, those are the results of last week. And just for everyone to know, this week that we're stepping into from tomorrow,
it is a return leg.
Where we're going to see who's going to go through to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League, Europa League, and then the Conference League. And then we'll know who goes through finally. So this is the end of the show. And as we end, of course, our guests, thank you very much, Valentine, for being here.
Thank you.
Give us your social media handles.
Schools in Soccer across Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Schools in Soccer.
Okay. So Schools in Soccer, that's how you can actually get to know more about Schools in Soccer, and then the book Football Association. Yeah. And it'll be a wonderful thing. Please patronize him because he is a very, very enterprising young man. And we're looking forward to your greatness coming up there.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much. And guys, it's been wonderful being here on this day. Thank you very much. Everyone listening to us from around the world. This has been the Afia TV Home of Sports, and I remain CC the Rabbi.
I remain Emeka Mareko, aka Femelo, your face of football.
And I remain Divine Onka, your very own divinator of football.